What is up, you guys? Welcome back to another one. If you're new to the channel, I'm Gold Pony. I do new car, truck, SUV reviews on YouTube, and today we're in the brand new 2022 Mercedes-Benz C class, courtesy of Mercedes-Benz of Hagerstown in Hagerstown, Maryland. For more information on their inventory, please feel free to check out the link in the description box below. And so we're in this one today because it has been completely redesigned for the 2022 model year, and this actually marks the start of a brand new generation for the C class as well. It has S-Class inspired looks. You guys can probably tell by the headlights up front, it looks pretty darn good, and a ton of new tech as well. But ultimately in this video, we will be testing out and going over everything about this one, from acceleration to braking, steering feel, ride quality, sound system, exhaust clip, all that fun stuff. So having said all of that, what do you guys say? Let's just go ahead and jump right into it. And as always, let's start with pricing. So essentially there are two different configurations for the 2022 C300. First one being the rear wheel drive variant, starting at $43,550. Then you got the 4MATIC all-wheel drive version starting at $45,550. But regardless of which configuration that you go with, the power plant is going to be the same. Powering the new C300 will be a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder with mild hybrid drive, putting out 255 horsepower at 5,800 RPM, 295 pound-feet of torque, coming in at 2,000 RPM. Power center rear wheels are all wheels through a 9-speed automatic with paddle shifters, which you guys know we will be testing out here in a little bit. 0 to 60 time is going to come in at approximately 6 seconds flat, according to Mercedes-Benz, with MPG numbers coming in at 25 in the city, 35 on the highway for the rear-wheel drive, 23 city, 33 on the highway. Then for the all-wheel drive, taking premium unleaded fuel. But so that before we do any kind of fun paddle shifter or acceleration test here in our C300, I wanted to mention to you guys the drive modes. They are labeled Dynamic Select. That button Dynamic is located just underneath of that new infotainment screen there. When you press that, you'll get to choose between Eco, Comfort, Sport, and Individual, adjusting things like the shift points, the throttle response, the steering sensitivity, and the Eco Start Stop system then as well. And actually, if you were to go with the AMG line package, which by the way goes for $3,050, it includes a bunch of different things. You're actually also going to get a Sport Plus driving mode to go along with all of those standard driving modes then as well. But now having got all of that out of the way, what do you guys say? Let's go ahead and find a straightaway. Let's put the paddle shifters and acceleration here to the test at the same time. Let's see how quickly the paddle shifters react, and let's see how quickly we can get our new C300 here up to speed. All right, we are in first gear. 3, 2, 1. This thing's quick. Okay, not quite as quick as far as paddle shifters go as I'm used to in Mercedes-Benz, but they felt good. I will say that. They're definitely not the slowest paddle shifters. They're nice, but they're not as quick as what I'm typically used to with Mercedes-Benz. That acceleration though, that was plenty fine. You are not gonna have any issues with merging onto the highway. This thing definitely gets up to speed quite nice, and that may be due in part because it has nearly 300 pound-feet of torque. But anyways, and the EQ boost for that matter. To go along with that acceleration though, as always, braking is equally important. And so up front, you will find 13-inch ventilated front discs. In the back, 11.8-inch ventilated rear discs. As far as the braking feel goes, it's definitely on the softer side without a doubt. Wouldn't have minded if they firmed up that braking feel a little bit. Typically, with Mercedes-Benz, you get that, but with the C300, it is a bit softer of a braking feel. I'll just put it that way. Then touching on suspension and handling, up front you're going to get a 4-link front axle. In the back, 5-arm multi-link rear design, front and rear stabilizer bars. But perhaps my favorite part about the suspension configuration on the new C class is that it comes standard with an adaptive damping suspension. Essentially what that is it monitors each shock absorber individually, not only adjusting to road imperfections, giving you a smoother ride, but it's also going to tighten up the suspension during heavy cornering, really giving you the best of both worlds. So that is a suspension feature that definitely doesn't come standard on most vehicles out there. Luxury vehicles, yes, and a lot of sports cars as well. So definitely was a fan to see that the C class is coming with that standard for 2022. Did want to also mention though, if you were to go with that AMG line package, that is going to add a sport suspension, aka stiffer springs and shock absorbers. It's also going to give you a slightly lower ride height as well, and a heavier steering feel to go along with all of that. But ultimately, as far as ride quality goes, it's been 100% on point. I will say Hagerstown has some very nice roads, but definitely absorbing the road imperfections quite nicely. It's been very smooth ride so far on my short test drive here today. As far as steering feel goes, it's okay. It feels pretty much like I would expect the new C-Class to feel. Not the heaviest steering feel in the world, but it's definitely not the loosest either. It does not feel like an SUV. It feels like a sedan, so I've had no issues with the steering feel. And as far as cabin noise goes, it has been a very serene cabin. I'm getting a little bit of my climate control noise right now. If you guys are picking anything up, it's probably that. But we actually do have the acoustic package today that goes for $150. That actually adds an acoustic laminated front windshield and door glass as well, which gives you the very possible most serene cabin. That is another one of those features I always look for in all the vehicles that I review, and that is going to give you the very best insulation, I guess you could say, from exterior wind and road noise. So definitely a big fan of that. And touching on visibility, I can see 100% perfectly fine out the back. No issues there. Rain sensing windshield wipers do come standard, and there is a head-up display available if you wanted to go that route as well. But that pretty much rounds out the performance segment of this review, guys. Let's now go ahead and take a look at the exterior of a brand new 2022 Mercedes-Benz C300. All right, and so here she is, you guys, the new 2022 Mercedes-Benz C300, finished in polar white, in case anybody was curious of our exterior color name, and completely redesigned for the 2022 model year, of course, like I already said. But anyways, let's go ahead and start up front on this one here. Vertical slats can be found in the front grille. That's going to be the standard configuration. Want to put it that way because if you go with that AMG line package, you're going to get that traditional diamond block front grille without the chrome perimeter that you guys are looking at right now. So little differentiation there. LED headlights to the sides, they do come standard. They come with LED daytime running lights and the automatic feature, meaning when it starts to get dark out at night, headlights are going to turn on automatically for you there. Automatic high beams also coming standard, meaning if you have your high beams on and it senses a vehicle coming in the opposite direction, it's going to automatically dim them back to low beams. Then when that vehicle is gone, it's going to bump it back up to high beams automatically for you there, so that's always good. Did want to also mention an optional lighting package. It's going to be the adaptive digital light LED headlights. By the way, that package goes for $1,100, but essentially it's going to be slightly brighter illumination and of course that adaptive feature, meaning when you're going around a bend at night, those headlights are going to swivel based on the direction of your steering angle, better help illuminating what is around that bend. It's kind of like BMW's laser light technology if you were to compare it to something. But anyways, pretty much rounds out the front end. I do like the new look. It looks a lot like an S-Class, specifically those headlights, so very elegant design to the front. But now let's go ahead and make our way to the side of the C-Class. All right, and so but now since we are around to the side of this one, chrome window surrounds do come standard. You do have some chrome accenting found on those door handles as well. Do like the body colored side skirts. I think that does look good as well. Taking a look at the side mirrors, they are body colored power adjustable side mirrors. They will be heated with LED integrated turn signals, and they actually are power folding then as well, which you don't always get even on luxury vehicles. So I wanted to emphasize that. Take a look at the wheel configurations. 18-inch alloys do come standard across the board. 18-inch AMG specific alloys for the AMG line package, and there are 18 and 19-inch wheel designs available in addition to all of that to really make the car your own, I suppose. So that is going to be there for you as well. But again, that pretty much rounds out the side. Let's now go ahead and make our way to the back. All right, so but now since we are around to the back of the C-Class, you guys will notice no shark fin antenna or no antenna whatsoever found on the roof of this one. A very clean look. I'm a huge fan of that. Just below that, there is a rear spoiler available. There are body colored rear spoilers, black rear spoilers, and carbon fiber rear spoilers available. So we do have that option. So it looks pretty darn good back there. And I do like the design to the taillights. And actually, let me get up a little bit closer here for you guys so you guys can see that a little bit better. Taillights are LEDs, by the way, so added illumination at night to kind of match up with the LED headlights, but definitely a very cool looking design to these taillights. They look like really nothing else on the road. So I'm a big fan of that. But in the middle of those taillights, though, I did want to mention there is some LED license plate lighting. You can't really see it because it's a bright and sunny day today, but I did want to mention it. It is there. And just below it all, there are dual exhaust outlets tucked underneath. Mercedes will want to have you believe that these are integrated dual exhaust outlets finished in chrome. They are not. That is the fake look, as Audi does it recently. So they're actually tucked away underneath. I don't know if you guys can see that, but not a huge fan of that. Would have liked it a heck of a lot better if they made those exhaust outlets functional, or at least didn't make it look like they were actually there. But anyways, nonetheless, I do believe you guys know what we have to do next. As always, here is that exhaust clip. right, and so but now since we are around to the back of this C-Class, when it comes to opening that rear trunk, it is a power rear trunk. I want to start by saying that, but there is a button on the key fob, there's a button on the trunk itself, and there's a button on the driver's door then as well. But once opened up, cargo capacity comes in at 12.6 cubic feet. If that was not enough space, there is a 40-20-40 split, meaning the rear seats do fold down for quite a bit of extra space then if you needed it. There's actually some buttons located in the trunk itself also to actually fold down those rear seats, so I thought that was pretty convenient. Did want to also mention there's cargo lighting back there, there's some netted storage back there, there's tie-down anchors, which you usually don't find in sedans, so I wanted to emphasize that. You typically find that in SUVs, so that was pretty cool seeing that back there. There's also a couple grocery bag hooks on both sides, so big fan of that as well. And if you were to lift up under that cargo floor, you will actually find some in-floor storage back there then as well. But then make your way up to the rear seats. For reference, I'm even 6 feet tall. This is how much space I had in those rear seats there, but quite a bit going on back here. But you will find rear ventilation. There is a rear center armrest as well. If you press that little thing at the top, it's actually going to be a cell phone holder if you wanted to maybe watch a show back there, but there's not actually any cup holders within the center armrest. You of course do have the cup holders found on the doors, but that's where you're going to be using there. There's no cup holders on the actual armrest itself. Will also mention though, you have 2 phone charging ports and a 12-volt power outlet. There's no USB charging ports though, unfortunately, but of course they do have connectors. You can simply just plug in your phone charging port to a USB charging port and so on. So that is going to be there for you as well. But then make your way up to the front seats. Power adjustable front seats with 4-way power lumbar do come standard. That will come with memory settings for up to 3 different drivers found on the driver's side door there. Front seats will be heated, and then ventilated front seats are going to be available for an additional $450. Then take a look at the steering wheel. It is tilt and telescoping. It is leather wrapped and it is heated for an additional $250 if you wanted to go that route. I do like the design to the steering wheel actually. It looks pretty darn good in my personal opinion. And make our way to the startup. Let me start by showing you guys the key. It is a very, very heavy duty key, a very nice weight to it. You got the Mercedes-Benz logo found all the way to the top, and by the way, that doubles as your lock button. So press the Mercedes-Benz logo to lock the vehicle up, unlock just below that, and of course you got the button to pop the trunk just below the unlock button then as well. But I will say a remote start does come standard once you download the Mercedes Me app. That's going to be how you're going to go ahead and access that remote start. There's also keyless entry with a push button start that comes standard. So in this case, all I'm going to do here is simply put my foot on the brake and press that engine start button located just to the left of the infotainment screen. And so once started up, gauges will be a 12.3-inch full digital gauge cluster. Speedometers all the way to your left, tachometer is on your right, and there are a few different settings that you can control by using the home button on the left side of the steering wheel there. That's going to give you your classic view. There is a sport view, which is pretty darn cool and understated as well. I think the sport view looks the coolest personally, but yeah, there's a few different options there, so you got that available to you, and that really changes the entire look. But because it's a digital gauge cluster, it has pretty much everything you could possibly want up there. You can configure it however you want. Outside temperature, digital speedometer, how many miles you have left until you hit empty, and so on. So like I said, everything you want up there. Then making our way to overall interior quality. A power sunroof does come standard. Auto dimming rear view mirror with HomeLink controls for up to 3 different garage doors found just underneath of that rear view mirror. And by the way, it's a frameless rear view mirror as well, which I'm always a big fan of. Dual zone climate control is going to come standard, so both driver and passenger can set their own temperatures there. 64 colors of ambient lighting also coming standard, and Mercedes-Benz does ambient lighting better than everybody in my personal opinion. You got a couple different finishes available. I wanted to mention we do have a wood finish today. It's a matte wood finish and it's texturized as well, so you can kind of feel the grooves of the wood, which I think is super cool. There are some other finishes like a metal weave trim that you can get instead of the wood as well. So a couple different options there. Wireless phone charger is going to be available for you, and kind of just underneath the infotainment screen here, you will find a good bit of rubberized storage. You got a couple cup holders, a couple phone charging ports, and within the center armrest, decent amount of storage, and you actually have a couple more phone charging ports within that as well. But overall, it's finished very nicely. I think the wood really sets it off. I think that makes this thing look so much better. I like our light color interior contrast with the dark interior accents found just above these new climate control vents. They are kind of like an ovalish circle found just above the infotainment screen and above the glove box. They look pretty darn good. I could definitely tell they're new for 2022 as well, but overall definitely a very upscale interior quality without a doubt. But now let's go ahead and make our way to that infotainment screen, because that is new as well. It is an 11.9-inch portrait-oriented color touchscreen display, and so it is all touchscreen. And of course you can find Bluetooth and audio streaming. There's Android Auto, Apple CarPlay as well. Factory navigation system goes for $650 if you wanted to go that route. You can adjust your climate control settings up there, and everything is very quick. I notice when I'm swiping my finger left and right or whatever I do, everything is instantaneous, exactly like a cell phone would be. And traditionally with infotainment screens on other vehicles, you have a little bit of a delay, but that is certainly not the case with this new 11.9-inch screen that Mercedes has put in the new C-Class. A very quick reaction, so that is definitely a good thing. You can check out your radio information up there as well, and it does appear we have a Burmester sound system with us here today. So having said that, what you guys say, let's go ahead and turn on the radio, see what we got playing today, and let's test out the clarity of this one. Definitely perfectly fine. Ton of bass with that sound system, crystal clear. That was definitely where it's at. And I will say another thing I thought was pretty cool. The way you turn up the volume for the radio is you just slide your finger to the left and to the right just underneath of that infotainment screen. Kind of like the same way you open and close the curtain for the panoramic sunroof that we have here. You just slide your finger forward and back to open and close that. I forgot to mention that. So a lot of very easy gestures in order to make this vehicle function. Very techy, I guess you could say, which I'm a big fan of. Last thing I want to mention to you guys on the infotainment screen is when you do put the new C-Class in reverse, you will find possibly the most high definition camera I have ever seen in a vehicle, letting you know what is completely all around you, which is always is going to lead us into safety. And so to start, I first wanted to mention the 2022 C-Class is not yet rated by IIHS, but for 2021, it was an IIHS Top Safety Pick Plus, so I would imagine the 2022 version would be the same. Front side curtain airbags do come standard, driver's knee airbag up front as well. In the back, I wanted to mention there is rear side impact airbags available for an additional $700. If you wanted to go that route, they are available. Also in the back, latch, aka lower anchors to tethers to children for the rear car seats, rear child door locks, tire pressure monitoring system. Also standard though, attention assist, Mercedes-Benz emergency call service, and blind spot assist with exit warning assist as well. Did want to also mention there's tons of advanced safety features available for you guys. I'm not going to ramble on off to you, but some of them include adaptive cruise control. There's Parktronic, where you could set the parking spot you want the vehicle to either pull in or back into. You can set that as well. It's a crazy feature. It's going to scare you at first, but it works incredibly well. Active steering assist and route-based speed adaptation, just to name a few. And so overall, when it comes to my final thoughts here of the new C-Class, I am a big fan of the new look of this thing. I think it looks like a baby S-Class more or less, which is a very good thing. It has a very elegant look, I guess you could say. Very quick acceleration as well, is a big fan of that. This thing gets up to speed in no time, probably due in part because of the EQ boost and the 300 pound-feet of torque. Lots of fun tech options. I particularly like the little swiping features for the power sunroof and the volume buttons as well. As far as room for improvement goes, the braking feel is definitely not the best. It kind of feels like the Acura RDX when it first came out. It's kind of a dead spot when you first hit the brake, and then all of a sudden it kicks in, and then when it kicks in, it's a soft braking feel. So definitely wouldn't mind it if they changed up that really completely. Another thing I think Mercedes-Benz in general needs to do is put USB charging ports rather than specific phone charging ports. I think that is what most people are probably looking for, including myself. But other than that, this thing is pretty darn nice, specifically the interior details as well, including like this floating ledge I didn't even mention to you guys, where you kind of control the power window buttons. It's just kind of floating here in this silver finish. I think that's such a nice design element to the interior here and the wood finishes as well. But anyways, let me know what you guys think of the new C-Class in the comments section below. That is about it for this one, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to follow me on social media if you want to see what's coming next on the channel before it actually gets to YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe with the bell notification button if you're into new car reviews. That is what we do here on this channel after all. Do appreciate you guys watching more than you know, and I will see you guys all in the next video. Stay gold.